How does the physics engine shape the combat experience in Dark Times?
Yeah, so physics is a really important part to Dark Times and the experience. I wrote a paper maybe 3, 4 years ago talking about immersive sims being a paradigm for design rather than a genre. So if we think about Breath of the Wild, there are a lot of things in that game, throwing things around, picking up and moving stuff, firing, have an impact on the world, the physics system. A lot of these things come into play to create these emergent situations. We spoke about that too in the last episode about combining mechanics together to have something happen that you might not necessarily have seen before. And a lot of that comes from the immersive sim genre. And a lot of those games are put together in a way where you can combine systems and see what happens. And I think that that's a really interesting design philosophy, and it's something I use at Blowfish with the designs that we do, where we don't necessarily treat immersive sim as just a genre. We're not making System Shock and we're not making Bioshock, but we're using the principles that they applied to make things, enable you to be able to tackle any encounter in a way that you think makes sense and not really say, no, you can't do that. You want to try this thing? Go ahead and try. We actually allow you to do that. Physics is super important. We use it for throwing. We can pick up and throw anything, any weapon you see in the game. You can pick up and you can throw. And all of that has physics on it. They're all rigid bodies that could hit someone and then cause a knockback into something else. Almost this like ricochet pinball kind of dynamic that happens. Yeah, we have things like ragdoll and that type of stuff, but at its very essence, physics allows you to have a certain level of like randomness. There's something that I write about in that paper called scale. If we take just a simple game, let's take a horror, and you have a door opening mechanic, you could press a button to open and close the door. And I would call this a binary implementation, right? Or a binary design. You just have open and close. That's it. Press one button, open and close. There is no room for emergence to really happen. There's only two outcomes that can really emerge from that, right? And once you've seen them both, that's it. Or we could apply something like scale as a principle and allow the scroll wheel to slowly open and close the door. So now you can peek, right? You can see if there's anything there. You could open it a little bit, maybe throw a grenade in, right? Deal some damage. You could just open it really quickly, catch them off guard. There are a lot of things you can do just because we now have a non-binary scalable implementation. And physics allows you to do that because by nature, physics is random. And you never know what the final kind of number is going to be, roughly this much. But that's why never two outcomes with physics ever is the same, right? And so we use techniques and tools to help us kind of mitigate some of those issues and challenges that come up with working with any kind of physics engine.